Good morning, security gang, and welcome back to the CyberHub Podcast. James Azar here, your host and CISO, episode 998. On Monday, we do episode 1000. It's exciting times here at the show. It's a lot of reflection. It's kind of like a major birthday, like when you turn 30, 40, 50, 60, those round birthdays where a decade has gone by. Well, when you do 1,000 episodes on the show, you constantly wonder how, why, and how did I get to 1,000? I was told by Spotify, by my Spotify rep, he goes, Mr. Azar, you're at a point, take 99% of all podcasts. You're at the 90th percentile in terms of content creation. 90th percentile. Like nine, like niner, like, and then there's an 8 somewhere. So take 9 or 9s to understand where the show is, which is flattering. It's absolutely flattering. Yesterday we broke a download record. So all of those things are positive, not to brag, but reflecting. I rarely ever talked about this on the show, but reflecting. I mean, we don't invest in marketing. We don't go out and bring in 500 sponsors. We don't do any of that here on the show. This show's been organic, natural, thanks to every single one of you. So thank you. Very much appreciate it, because without you, it wouldn't be possible. Well, this morning, we've got a packed show. It's why you're tuning in, because you want cybersecurity news, not hear about our status. Our State of the Union you'll get on Monday. Today, we're talking about status. We're talking about cybersecurity news. What's happening? Because a lot is. We started the show, getting ready for the show last night, as we typically do. We had 23 stories that we were paying attention to. We boiled it down to 11. We're going to get into them. So let's go ahead and do that. Before we do that, though, we have a tradition here. If it's your first time tuning in, we missed you. You have 998 episodes to catch up on, 997 episodes to catch up on. Today's 998. So you're here now. So get watching. They're short. They're fun. They're good. Also, you'll notice I've always got an espresso in hand. I love espressos. Coffee cup cheers, y'all. The clear cup. See, like the line of foam right there. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, I need another one. It's Wednesday morning. It's hump day. You need them just as bad as you can get them. We're going to get into this morning's news because we have a lot to talk about, where SnappyBee plus Citrix led to China's Nexus breaching a European telecom. Researchers are saying that a Salt Typhoon aligned actor chained a Citrix NetScaler flaw with a custom backdoor that they dubbed as SnappyBee, like the beads, to persist inside a European telco using AV side loading and even signed drivers to stay quiet and pivot across the network. Telecom and critical service providers should expect similar playbooks against some of their edge appliances, plus a lot of living off the land for dwell time. The lawful intercept exposure here is significant. Customer metadata theft here is also a significant risk. Follow-on access to partner and peered via MPLS or even private interconnects is also something on their mind there. And again, we see the Chinese actively going after telecom networks. We still don't know everything that happened here on the Vault Typhoon and Salt Typhoon side of the house. We know the backdoors they built in critical infrastructure. The telecom breach is what Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon is still holding up Patrick's nomination for the director of CISA in order to get that report. So all of that, folks, comes into play. We'll continue because the CISA story here, CISA is updating their KEV catalog faster than anyone else. They're including Apple, Kentico, and Microsoft bugs, all as part of their known exploited vulnerabilities, including the Windows SMB client and Kinetico experienced CMS bugs. Apple's item included issues in receiving in the wild attention. So your patch clocks are now running, team. Many of these public-facing applications or programs, they're on the radar. Remember, I say it every show, and I say it again because I want it to sink. Research shows 20 minutes from a vulnerability being disclosed, they're actively scanning. Don't believe me? Check it out. Go to Shodan. Go look at it anywhere. The Shadow Server Foundation. They keep track of all of this stuff. A moment of CVE is announced, a moment of vulnerability is announced, scanning starts. In 24 hours, we have a proof of concept exploit. Typically, almost always. Okay. So there's a lot to this, from external website compromise to the SMB relay chains to privileges, and even some of these SLA slips that could come in there and do that. And again, these vulnerabilities that CISA added here is the Windows flaw CVE 2025-33073. This was patched in June. The Kentico bugs were CVE 2025-2746 and 2747. They have a CVSS score of 9.6, and they impact the CMS's staging, sync, server password handling, and could allow attackers to control admin objects. And also CVE 2022-48503 is an arbitrary code execution issue in Apple products being abused in the wild. Apple actually patched this up in July of 2022. But how many folks do we know that have very old iPhones that they don't update because they believe that updating your iPhone is a conspiracy to slow it down so that Apple can make more money off of you by selling you a new iPhone? That's your thing. Get it, but patch it up. It's there. It's being taken advantage of, and you're next. All right, Bitcoins, 120,000 plus Bitcoin private keys were exposed via the Libitcoin Explorer RNG flaw. The weakness in Libitcoin Explorer is a random 3.x is a generation widely made for wallet keys is predictable. It makes predictable wallet keys for Bitcoins. Researchers now estimate that over 120,000 affected keys over years of usage were impacted. If your teams, labs, or customers ever used BX to generate wallets, assume those keys are burnt. So you want to immediately switch out those keys, because if you don't, you're looking at a potential irreversible loss of crypto assets, even some regulatory or contract questions for treasury functions being a big part of that. So you want to make sure you get that addressed as well. Oracle's been in the crosshairs a lot. Well, now they've released their 2025 critical update, fixing 374 flaws. 374 flaws, of which 230 are remotely exploitable without authentication. Wow. So Oracle's October CPU ships 374 patches across the portfolio. And that's, folks, that's quite significant here. 180 unique CVEs and a dozen criticals. The heaviest hit products include Oracle Communications. That has 73 fixes. 47 of those are remotely exploitable. Communication applications, 64 fixes. 46 are remotely provide remote unauthorized access if taken advantage of. Financial services app, 33. 29 are remotely exploitable. Plus sizable updates for Fusion middleware, retail, MySQL, PeopleSoft, Cybele, and e-business suite. Java SC also had some updates. So did Solaris. This is again coming after Oracle EBS was used as a 0-day by extortion groups. So not a good day to be an Oracle customer. You want to make sure you get these patched up ASAP, because again, a lot of these are remotely exploitable without authentication. Prioritize that today. Prioritize it today, please. So the NPM ecosystem is being abused to deliver the Adaptix C2. New reporting is showing that attackers have continued to weaponize NPM packages to stage now the Adaptix C2 POIS exploitation framework inside developer environments, which is another reminder that no-code execution on install isn't the only risk. Some HTML docs and CDN redirects can phish credentials and even drop implants. You want to mitigate this immediately. For any org with a CI/CD on autopilot, you want to make sure you get this reviewed. Work on these specific threat actors. You know, NPM is being used widely as a staging ground for software supply chain attacks. And now we move to all the folks in your organization that are using Cursor and Windsurf, shipping with 94 plus end-day Chromium and version 8 vulnerabilities. Looping Computer finding the latest Cursor Windsurf releases embed Electron and Chromium builds with over 94 plus known already patched flaws, exposing 1.8 million developers to sandbox escapes, cross-site scripting, and even remote code execution chains through dev tooling. And I don't need to tell you what this could mean, from dev workstation compromises to source code and secret theft, in there to software supply chain risks. The attackers are getting sophisticated. They're going after our developers, and those IDE tools that they're using for vibe coding, any of those Visual Studio tools. They're all part of the equation. So you want to make sure you get those addressed. If you are using them, that's going to be significant as well. No mitigation as of right now. There's some workarounds that you can do within controlling it before it hits, your GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket environment. You want to make sure you still run it through all of the regular checks, as well as scanning SAS, DAS, and then you want to monitor any code written there until this gets patched up. We'll move to PolarEdge here because this one is significant, folks. Let's get into the PolarEdge backdoors. Continues to grow. Cisco, ASUS, QNAP, and Synology routers are all on base. The TLS-based ELF implant PolarEdge continues to target small and branch routers and NOS devices using custom embedded TLS listeners and even obfuscated configs. It actively has expanded this year, where you would see like durable edge footholds for espionage being set up, some staging for ransomware being used as well, and then traffic redirections that evades basic egress rules are all part of what this new PolarEdge kind of router continues to do. So again, something to keep in mind here as you're kind of looking at these edge devices. Census detailed infrastructure backbone powering this botnet that we all know as PolarEdge. The company's noting that PolarEdge exhibits characteristics that are consistent with an operational relay box network. There's evidence to suggest activity even involves the malware that may have started as far back as June of 2023. And again, the configuration is embedded in the final 512 bytes of the ELF image, obfuscated by a 1-byte XOR that can be decrypted with a single byte key. So you can tell like how they're obfuscating it is really simple. It's not complex. It allows them to kind of get in and do what they need to do, causing an impact for all of us here. TP-Link is starting to issue some warnings here. Let's get into that story this morning, folks. And if we're going fast, I apologize, but we're trying to get through so many stories today. So the TP-Link Omeda gateways have a critical command injection. That's CVE 2025-8750. TP-Link is warning of a CVSS 9.3 command injection bug and related flaws in the Omeda business gateways. It's exploitable after admin logins via the web portal. So this is a high complexity attack because they have to compromise your admin logins in order to get in. You can expect rapid weaponization against exposed admins and compromised credentials. So you want to make sure you rotate all of your admin credentials just to be safe. This could have some impact where they could take over your gateway and east-west pivoting and man-in-the-middle attack of some corporate traffic in those businesses. These are primarily deployed by MSPs, by smaller MSPs. So again, something for our friends there. We move internationally to our friends in Russia. And Russia is ordering Apple to default to Russian search engines because they don't want our search engines. Theirs are better. When you indoctrinate communism, you want to control the message. And Moscow's competition regulator telling Apple to ship iPhones in Russia with Yandex or Mail.ru as the default search choices, regardless of distribution nuance. This signals an ongoing platform rule pressure and even data localization posture changes from the Russians. And again, this could have impact in terms of how Apple actually does this. Will Apple comply with us? I'm sure they will. It's the local market. They want to sell their iPhones there, and it's a net positive for folks to have iPhones. And then again, people on their own can actually change the setting to the default search engine to Google, Comment by Perplexity. OpenAI just launched a browser. If you notice, the browser game is getting very, very tight. A lot of AI companies getting in the browser spot. Something's happening there. We may need to talk about that on the Saturday's weekend. Let me know in the comments if you like, and we'll dig into it for our Saturday article from today to then. All right, let's get into some consolidation because two big announcements. Data miner set to acquire Threat Connect for $290 million. That's going to fold Threat Connect's tip and soar into the public Signal AI platform, pitching client-tailored intelligence that blends open source and event signals with internal indicators and playbook. So that's a good buy there for Data Miner as well. And congratulations to the Threat Connect team. Veeam on their end kind of shattering some stuff there with a $1.7 billion acquisition of Security AI. That's a DSPM, meaning backup NDR. Veeam buying it potentially to unify data discovery and classification, privacy, and even AI governance with backup and immutability and recovery. So, goodbye, but got to make sure product's good because they go after Veeam all the time. And if they're somewhat successful there, then you could see that being a really, really big problem. That's it for our show this morning. Believe it or not, we're getting on time. So love it. Let's talk a little bit some of your takeaways. Your edge devices and routers, if they're vulnerable, patch them up. Your Oracle, Microsoft, Contico experience, Apple, patch those up. I know patching, not very sexy. Not what you want to hear at 9:17 a.m. Eastern time on a Wednesday morning, but it does matter. You got to get in with your workers. DevStation, obviously, between NPM and these vibe coding, Cursor, Windsurf, and all of them, you're seeing a lot of threats developing that in that area. So you want to make sure you lock those down as well. And finally, crypto key hygiene is really, really important. And again, we've seen cyber market continue to consolidate. That consolidation is a good thing. It's a net positive for us as an industry. All in, it's a net positive. It lets investors recoup money on the investments. Those VCs and private equity firms that funded those companies to get them to a point, now they're getting paid. They're actually getting their payday. And now they're freeing up to look at the next company to fund. And that's a good thing when that happens. I know people don't like a lot of market consolidation, but that's the net positive side of it, is it actually encourages more innovation because now these VC firms and private equity firms that funded these companies actually have more cash in the bank to go invest in companies and might be willing to bankroll a company or two that may be a little riskier because of it. So those are things to keep in mind there. Thank you all for tuning in. Go check out CyberHubPodcast.com. You'll notice that we've got a whole article from the weekend on backdoors by design, China's long game against America's supply chain, and the real economic bill, talking about all of these supply chain attacks. And I just talked about NPM and Cursor and Windsurf and all these IDEs. Something to really keep in mind, as we know that's what the Chinese do all day, in and out. We give you some real math there, stuff that you can take to your CFOs, that you can take to your board and your executive team in order to get buy-in to run a program, showing the historical financial impact to businesses this has caused over time. So I build the whole case for you there. So go check that out at cyberhubpodcast.com. There's hundreds of other articles there, hundreds, including all of these podcasts in written format. They're available for you to actually read and share directly from our website at cyberhubpodcast.com. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, y'all, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.